For thousands of years, we have looked at death as a door slamming shut, a final fade to black. The lights go out, the show is over, and the screen goes blank. But what if we've got it all wrong? What if the moment of death isn't a silence, but a scream? What if the final seconds of your life are actually the most vivid, electric, and high-resolution moments you will ever experience? New groundbreaking science is prying open the ultimate locked room, the human mind in its final moments. And what we are finding is absolutely terrifying and fascinating in equal measure. We used to think death was a moment. You're here, and then you're gone. But researchers like Dr. Sam Parnia at NYU Langone Health are rewriting the definition of mortality. Here is the first chilling fact you need to understand. Death is not a switch. It is a process, and it is a reversible one. Before 1959, if your heart stopped, you were dead, period. Then we invented CPR. Suddenly, the boundary blurred. Today, doctors can drag people back from the void 20 minutes, sometimes hours, after their heart hits zero. But here is the part that keeps scientists up at night. Even when the heart has stopped and the person is clinically dead, the brain cells do not die immediately. They remain intact for hours, sometimes days. This creates a gray zone, a window where you are dead, but you are not gone. And inside that window, something inexplicable is happening. Let's talk about terminal lucidity. This is something hospice nurses whisper about in hallways. Imagine a patient with advanced Alzheimer's. For years, they haven't recognized their own children. They've lost their speech, their personality, their self. They are essentially gone. Then, hours or days before they die, they wake up. I don't mean they open their eyes. I mean they return. They remember nicknames. They crack inside jokes. The fog lifts, and the old personality, the one thought to be destroyed by disease, emerges with crystal clarity. It happens all the time. But why? Dr. Jimo Borjigan at the University of Michigan may have found the answer, and it lies in the posterior cortical hot zone of your brain. In a study published in 2023, researchers looked at comatose patients taken off life support. As the oxygen levels plummeted, the brain didn't just fade away. It panicked. It exploded with activity, specifically gamma waves. If you don't know neuroscience, gamma waves are the high-frequency signals associated with hyperfocus, memory recall, and intense consciousness. These are the waves firing when you are solving a complex problem or remembering a vivid face. When these patients were clinically dying, their brains weren't shutting down. They were lighting up like a Christmas tree. The activity was actually higher and more organized than when they were awake. Let that sink in. The dying brain might be more alive than the living one. Dr. Borjigan hypothesizes this is a survival mechanism, a homeostatic Hail Mary. The brain detects oxygen loss and kicks into overdrive to restore equilibrium, but in doing so, it might be unlocking a hidden door in the mind. This aligns perfectly with what survivors of cardiac arrest report. Dr. Parnia led a massive study called Aware 2. 1 in 5 survivors reported lucid experiences while they were technically dead on the table. And these weren't hallucinations. They weren't dreams. They were realer than real. Parnia suggests that death essentially cuts the brakes on your consciousness. Think about your daily life. Your brain is a filter. It ignores the hum of the fridge, the feeling of your shirt on your skin, and irrelevant memories, just so you can function. You have inhibitory systems that keep you focused on the present. But when you die, the fuel runs out. The braking mechanism fails. The filter dissolves. Suddenly, you have access to everything, every memory, every interaction, every thought you have ever had. This explains the life review phenomenon, seeing your life flash before your eyes. It's not spiritual magic. It's biological disinhibition. Your entire existence is unspooling because the mechanism that usually holds it back has just been destroyed. This rewrites the tragedy of dementia. It suggests that the self is never truly destroyed by the disease. It's just suppressed, buried under broken connections. When the body begins to shut down, the brain makes one last, desperate, high-energy attempt to survive. And in that surge, the person you loved comes back for one final goodbye. The poet Dylan Thomas told us to rage against the dying of the light. Science is now showing us that our brains do exactly that. We do not go gentle. We go out with a surge of electricity, a flood of memory, and a level of consciousness that defies the clinical definition of death. We are just scratching the surface of this. We are barely peering through the keyhole. But one thing is becoming undeniably clear. The end is not a fade to black. It is a supernova. And for those few minutes between life and whatever comes next, we are more awake than we have ever been.